to record. All right, thank you for jumping in for our Google Hangout as we kick off our online course for budget and finance, an exciting topic. And my name is Bruce. I'll be your instructor throughout the 3 weeks. As we go through, we'll talk about a variety of topics, and I'll mention some specifics of those in just a moment. Having been a director of instructional technology, I know what it's like to manage a budget, and especially when you get into a position where you go, wait, I didn't have any budget courses, and here I'm now managing a budget. And so there is a lot to know. But throughout the 3 weeks, I'll give you a lot of resources. Some of those will be really too much to digest at the moment. So I may ask you, instead of actually reading it or doing something heavyweight with it, I may ask you just to skim it or look at one particular section. Some of those documents may be over 100 pages long, and so it's definitely something that once you get in the position, you'll want to make sure that you have your hands on, because it's definitely one of those things that if you don't know, what you don't know can hurt you. And so just kind of have that as we go through. If I give you a document and it's super huge, don't freak out. It's mainly a resource, and I'll direct you specific to what I want you to do with that. Let me go ahead and jump over. Hey, Alfredo, it's good to have you join us. Let me go ahead and jump over, and I will share a kind of an outline of what we'll be doing over the 3 weeks. And let's see, you should be seeing my PowerPoint. I'm not going to blow it up real large, because then I can't see the Hangout, and then I lose track of if it's coming through correctly and everything. So I'll leave it in this format. As I shared yesterday, here's my contact information. I will also have this on our Moodle site, so if you need to contact me at any time, there is that information for you to use. Here I have my phone, but on the Moodle website, where you'll see my contact information, it'll also have my cell phone that you can use if it's something after hours and you know that I'm not going to be at the office or something like that. So as far as getting started, very similar. If you're in the personnel management class, it's going to be the exact same website. If you've already logged in, then you're familiar with this. But you'll just go to elearn.tcea.org. Use your email address, the one that I sent this Google Hangout invitation to, and that will be your username for the course. Password, you'll notice, is password, and the O in word is an asterisk, and then ends in 01. So password 01 will be the default password when you log in. I believe it will ask you to change your password when you log in for the first time. If you've already logged in and you're in the personnel management class and you've already changed your password, then you don't have to worry about doing this. It should pick up your same login regardless of whether you're in one course or multiple courses. So here are a couple of topics that we'll be talking about. This week we'll actually start talking about steps in creating a budget and how to go about doing that, kind of creating your budget that you keep hidden. That's kind of your emergency budget, and then the budget that you create that you'll actually share with your boss in the finance department. Hopefully you won't have to pull out your hidden budget, but worst case scenario, if it turns into financial exigency or awful things happen at the state level, and the district is telling you, we've got to cut back to bare bones, then that's when you'll pull out your hidden budget. But that's something you don't want to show until you actually absolutely have to, because if they see you can get by with less, then they will assume that you can get by with less and maintain the same level of effectiveness, which your bare bones isn't really looking at effectiveness. It's looking at how do we maintain those pieces that have federal and state mandates or critical pieces involved in them, such as online testing and that type of thing. We'll take a look at budget codes, which in and of itself is super exciting. And I'll give you a document. If we were in class together, I'd give a couple of examples and have some folks pull out examples. In an online course, it doesn't really fit. That activity doesn't fit very well with the online course. So I will just ask you to just kind of peruse through it and review it. It's definitely one of those things that may seem kind of like, okay, I recognize this is kind of like the Dewey Decimal System, but beyond that, it may not mean a whole lot until you actually get in a situation where you have to start using them. Then the second week, we'll start taking a look at funding sources, and then move into obsolescence and replacement policies, and then ending up with purchasing procedures. So here's kind of the timeline that we'll be following over the 3 weeks. We began today with our Google Hangout, and appreciate your making time to join us. It will go 3 weeks. Our schedule, week 1 will start on Friday today and go through next Thursday. Week 2 will start next Friday, go through that following Thursday, and so on. If you'll just be real careful to complete the assignment for that week during that week, that'll make it a lot easier, a lot better, more richer conversations for everybody. So that way we don't end up with week 3 and someone's trying to go back and do an assignment for week 1, sharing some information when everybody's kind of moved on and nobody's there to actually share with. If we were in a class and somebody raised their hand and said, hey, I remembered something that we talked about at 10 o'clock this morning, it'd be a little bit different. But in an online environment, once we move beyond that week, it's a little bit harder to give feedback and a little bit harder for everybody to benefit from that. So I'll just ask you to be cognizant of the assignment and try to make sure that you get it done within that week. And then during the course, if you have any questions or need some help or something comes up and you're going like, what do I do? Here are several different ways that you can contact me. I did put this in the Moodle course, so you'll have this online at any given time. The office phone is very easy to contact me. If I'm in the office, you just call that number and just ask for me and they'll transfer you back. If I'm out, which I'll be out, like this next week I'll be out working in a district 2 different days. And so what you might do is just plan, if you need my help and you want to call me, just call my cell number. If I'm not able to answer, just leave me a voicemail and I'll get back with you as soon as I can, whether it's during that day or that evening. And then, of course, in our course, we'll have a Q&A forum that you can jump in. So if you need clarification about an assignment, or you have some other thought that comes to mind, some story that you want to share that deals with budget and finance, even if it's not related to an assignment but still deals with kind of the general topic, you can jump in. This will kind of be our catch-all, that type of thing. So let me go ahead and go to our Moodle site, and let me close that. So here you're taking a look. Let me log out and I'll actually go in from the start. Might make it a little bit easier. So when you get to the actual Moodle site, and here it comes. There we go. This is what it will look like. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see a small login button, a link. Just click on that link and enter your email address as your username, and then of course your password as it was, whether you've changed it already or whether it's password 0101 with that asterisk in it. If you're in multiple classes at the same time, they will show up in the list. If not, if you're only in budget and finance, that will be the only one. You can also access them by clicking on the My Courses link on the left-hand side in the navigation pane, and that will also give you the list of courses that you're a member of. It's going to look very similar as far as the layout to our other course. So for those of you in our other course, it'll be very similar. There are, I'll just kind of go through the layout of our course here. On the left-hand side will be a navigation pane that will help you navigate to different sections or different assignments. In the middle will be the main part that you'll be concerned with, and on the right-hand side will be a tailored section. And for this class, this will be a Twitter feed for anything related to budget, finance, and then tips, tricks, advice, school, or district, where folks are sharing links. So that maybe somebody's giving some ideas, like right there you can see Kate, I don't know how to pronounce the last name there, has shared 5 tips makes dealing with money less scary, and so the link is shared. So you take a look at some of those links if you have a chance, and you might find some things that really help you. Whether it's, as we talk about budget and finance, on a big scale for the district as a technology director, or whether you find some resources there that would benefit you just on your personal budgeting. In the middle will be a video, just me welcoming you to the course. For those who have been in the course with me here today, I'll kind of give you that introduction so you don't have to worry about taking a look at it. I was the Director of Instructional Technology in Dallas ISD before the budget cuts hit. I was there for 5 years, and so in that position, I was in a supporting role as an instructional specialist in the department for about 12 years. And in those 12 years, I went out to campuses, helped teachers with technology integration, but had nothing to do with budgets. Sometimes I would put together a proposal for my boss of a pilot we wanted to do or project we wanted to do, but my boss always did the budget and finance figures and all that. I never dealt with that. So once I moved into the position of director, it was quite interesting when they said you have a $6 million budget you need to manage. Oh, and by the way, at any given time, you may need to know about budget codes, and you're going to need to run some reports and that type of thing. So it was definitely felt like I was, I wasn't sure if I was in the frying pan or in the fire. It kind of different times kind of turned out to be different things, but it's definitely a steep learning curve all of a sudden. So hopefully you're being aware of just some resources that are out there and some of the concepts. Hopefully that will help you avoid that situation. There'll be student introduction for a section for folks who didn't join us today. Once I finish going through the Moodle site, then we'll jump back to everybody and ask each person to introduce themselves. For those who, like I said, didn't join us today, weren't able to, I'll ask them to jump in that student introduction section and just drop a link to a video of themselves telling about where they work and what they do in that location. Here's that course Q&A forum. So if you have a question about an assignment or need clarification or anything, just click on Add a New Discussion Topic and drop it in right there. And then of course I will put a link to our Google Hangout here, so if you need to refer back to this video or this time that we're talking right now, that will be available. Alright, you'll see week 1 is already showing up here. Once week 2 starts, which would be next Friday, then it will appear below week 1, and then of course week 3 will appear on that subsequent Friday. I tried to make it streamlined and very logical, concrete, sequential here. As far as here's kind of an overview that we'll be doing, and then the assignments. Most of the assignments will be either reading, watching a video, and then there'll be some type of reflection or participation that you'll do. So for in this one, for example, assignment 1, you'll actually jump in to talk about learning about the steps in building a budget and learn about kind of tips, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and then I'll ask you to take a look at types of budgets, choose 2 of the different types, and do a Google search on them, and if you'll answer a couple of questions to the whole group just on what those 2 are that you chosen out of the 4 or 5 that I listed, and give some feedback on that. Then we'll end up this week talking about budget codes. Here there's no assignment related with budget codes. It's really an FYI to give you some information and then to give you a couple of different documents. One of the documents I'll share with you is really just the website that your CFO, your Chief Financial Officer, and your Director of Budgeting probably has bookmarked on every device that they can think of. I gave it to you just because there are some things that you might need to refer to, even though we're really only looking at the budgeting portion. But there is a section for budgeting. If you download that, I think that section alone, that PDF file alone, is 148 pages. So it's definitely more information than what a director of any department would need to know. It's really information that the Director of Budgeting would need to know, or the Chief Financial Officer. But having that knowledge and kind of just being aware of here's where it is in case I need to know it can arm you. So in case they start using new terms or there ends up being some changes at the state level, you can always kind of take a look at those documents and get an idea of how are they thinking, how do they operate, how does my director of budget, what are the rules that he plays by, so to speak. So it makes you just kind of a better player in the field and makes you just more informed in the whole process. And then each week we'll end up with a look ahead at next week that will just kind of say, hey, if you finished already, here's what we'll be doing next week, and just give a one or two sentence of looking ahead. So that is kind of where we will be going and how we'll get there. And again, that's just going to be going to elearn.tcea.org and logging in, and that will get you everything you need right there. So let me stop sharing my screen. There we go. And let's go ahead and jump through and get you to introduce yourselves. Vanessa, why don't we start with you? I'll mute my mic, and you can unmute yours. And if you'll tell us just a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you work, and what you do there.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
First off, I hadn't checked anything.
You're good.
Okay. I'm Vanessa Ashcraft. I am the district librarian for Gerald ISD, and I decided to take this class because technology is hand in hand in the library now. We have made a lot of different changes. It's no longer a within the four-wall kind of thing. So I figured it'd be a good start, and I'm in charge of all the libraries in Gerald, so it's it's been a bit of an experience. So as far as budgeting and stuff, I understand what you're talking about. It can be a big can of worms when you open it up, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to learn more about and get certified. At least I'll know where we should be going as far as the libraries and stuff. So.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate that. And why don't we move on down? And Douglas, say that you're next in line, or at least on my computer, you're next in line. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'll go ahead and mute my mic and let you jump in. Why don't we come back to Douglas? I don't hear him, and so we'll come back to him. Candace, why don't you share with us a little bit about who you are, where you work, and what you do there?
Candace Robson with Buna ISD. I'm the Technology Secretary. I assist with the budget for the Director and Network Manager.
Okay. So you will have lots of tips and tricks to add then. You sleep and dream and eat this stuff, I bet, then.
I do.
All right. Well, it's great to have an expert in the audience. You've had specific training that most of us won't have if we get into a director position. So you really have some insights that you can share. So let me encourage you to do that as we go along.
Okay.
Our resident expert, our guru right here.
Oh, I don't know about that.
All right. Angie, why don't you go ahead and jump in and tell us a little bit about you and where you work.
I am the district coordinator for Gerald ISD. I'm over all the campuses. I am taking this course so I can better understand our growing district and the responsibilities that's being placed on my desk. So that's why I'm taking this course.
All right, very good. And kind of like in most instances, when you do a great job, you're rewarded by getting more work to do. So it sounds like that may be the system that they have there in your district as well. All right, let's go ahead and move on over to Alfredo. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you work?
Hi everyone, my name is Alfredo Laredo, and I'm the Technology Director for Waco ISD in Waco, Texas. Although right now I'm at a Starbucks on 51st Street, not too far from you, Bruce, and 35. I took a personal business day to help my in-laws move to Wimberley, and just made it through that traffic. It's like there's got to be a Starbucks nearby, and it doesn't have a great bandwidth, but I hope you guys are seeing me and hearing me okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I took the course because I've been in school administration for the past. Oh, thank you, thank you, Vanessa. I've been in school administration for the past 16 years as a middle school assistant principal, middle school principal, and then most recently principal of Waco High School. But obviously with a love of technology, so I'm kind of coming in from the instructional, but I've always liked all the toys and all the gadgets and everything. And now I'm running the whole thing. So I'm really wanting to get some of the more intricate, the more specific details on network and hardware selection, and of course budgeting. So really looking forward to this class and the rest of the certification classes.
Okay. All right, very good. And yeah, you're coming in fine. So thumbs up to the Starbucks that you're in.
Oh, okay, good.
I see that Douglas posted in our chat box. So if your chat is showing up, if it's not showing up on the side, if you move your mouse over to your left-hand side and click on the little blue speech bubble, that will open up the little chat window that'll be on the right-hand side of your main screen. And I see that Douglas jumped in there, apologizing that he doesn't have a mic, which is not a problem. It's great to have you with us, though, Douglas. Doug says that he's from Hughes Springs ISD. He's a network administrator there, and he'll be taking the course for his technology director certification. And it's critically important to know finance for his position. And now, Alfredo, as an administrator, you've already dealt with budget codes and kind of how that plays out, and kind of all the things that can happen mid-year, the little hiccups that can come along. So there may be some times and opportunities that you want to jump in and share from your wisdom. So let me encourage you to do that as well. All right, let me ask. We covered everything. We jumped over to the Moodle site, and I just kind of covered the gist of logistics of the course, so to speak. So let me just open up. Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, we've covered all the bases and everything. So
I do have one question.
okay.
The password is PASF.
Yep. Let me type it in the chat box. It's going to be capital P, lowercase a, lowercase s, lowercase s, lowercase w, and then an asterisk, lowercase r, lowercase d, and the number 0 and number 1. So that will be your password. Now, Vanessa, if you've already logged in to the personal finance, and if you changed your password, then use your password that you changed it to. Otherwise, it should. I don't believe it'll ask you for a different password just because it's a different course. It should be your same login. But let me know if that doesn't work, and I believe it'll ask. I believe it has a portion in there where you can get it to reset or send you your password. If not, give me a call and I can reset it on my end. So. All right, and so any other questions from anybody else? All right, I think we're good to go. Course is up and running, and so as you jump in, if you have any questions, feel free to call me. If you call me this evening, of course, Friday evening, fall season, it's going to be high school football where I'll be, so it may be a little bit hard to hear you, but leave me a voicemail, and I can definitely get back with you. I'll go to another place. I want to make sure that you can all jump in this evening, unless you jump into it tomorrow. I want to make sure that you have a successful experience as we go through this and as we talk about budget and finance. It definitely is one of those things that even if you're not, even if that was never a course that you had in your education courses, definitely there's a lot to learn and a lot of information that better understanding it is going to help you be at least a lot more confident when you talk with the budget department, but also help you understand there are specific rules that they follow. There is a logic to their madness, and unless you look behind the curtain and kind of see all the rules and the stipulations that the state gives, sometimes you just scratch your head and say, why can't they get it together? When really it's a lot to get together. And so they are just kind of like the messenger of what the state is rolling out when there are changes, which doesn't happen quite too often. But as we go through the process, we'll be talking about budget, finances, and all as they relate to our technology department. All right, so that is the end of our information. So thank you for being with me today, and look forward to seeing you online. All right, I'll be here for a few more minutes, and so if you have any questions, feel free. Otherwise, you're free to go, and I'll see you online. Thanks. Uh-oh, Doug, I'm not sure why. So let's see. I'll drop the recording up so that way. Let's see.
What time will Monday through Thursday be?
I'm not real particular on that. It's if you can finish it, if Thursday, if you can't finish it that night at a reasonable hour, don't stay up till midnight, burn the midnight oil. If you can get it done the next morning, it's not a problem.
Okay, so it's just assignments Monday through Thursday. We meet every Friday?
Well, we'll just it'll be assignments every Friday through Thursday.
Okay.
This will be our only official hangout. But
Okay.
as we go along, if I see there's lots of questions, then we'll do another hangout. But otherwise, this will be our only time that we'll officially all get together at one time.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thanks, Doug, for being with us, and I look forward to getting to know you online. Sounds good. Hey, Vanessa. I noticed you jumped back in, so I didn't know if you had a question or if you were just trying to make sure you didn't miss anything or anything like that. Okay, you're good to go. You got everything, and you were with us yesterday, so you know the ropes, kind of, so to speak. So you're good to go, and look forward to seeing you online.